We're continuing our coverage on the war in Ukraine, and today 6 News is raising money for UNICEF to help those most impacted, including millions of children.
I spoke with UNICEF spokesperson James Elder, who just left Ukraine, and I asked him how the situation looked in person and what's being done to help. Take a listen.
Yeah, the situation in Ukraine is a mixed bag. Obviously, there's good news for those people around the capital, Kiev, because of course, there's now, it seems that there's been a lot of troop movement out of those areas. So those people now, for a moment, are out of bunkers. We even see people returning to the city. But of course, no one there is celebrating, because in other cities across the country, as you and I are speaking, bombardments continue. We see on the news, redeployment of troops and so on. So there's grave concerns for many, many thousands of civilians, including children, who are in those cities, and they're really in the east and the south of the country. So children are still under bombardment, and hundreds of thousands are still, of course, have fled their homes.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about how more than 2 million children still need help, adults still need help. So what is UNICEF doing to help?
Yeah, our big response has been around emergency medical supplies. That's in Ukraine, kind of twofold there. Emergency medical supplies and support for trauma, because kids are living through a war, and that's traumatic. Emergency medical supplies, by that I mean, getting surgical equipment, oxygen, resuscitation equipment, obstetric equipment, because mothers are having babies in basements and bunkers. So we get scores and scores of trucks full of that equipment to hospitals across the country. But then, of course, it's about getting support to those children who are either in bunkers or who fled the war and are somewhere remotely safe right now. And that's counsellors giving them support. That's our mobile child protection teams going between conflict lines to reach them. So they're the main areas of that support. But then, as you rightly say, there's millions of kids now, millions, who have fled Ukraine in just 5 weeks. And they're in neighbouring countries, so they require basics of it's time to go back to school, healthcare, vaccination, child protection. So the needs are great, and that's what UNICEF's seeking to respond to, particularly in Ukraine, where the war rages on.
Now, if you'd like to help raise money for UNICEF, just point your cell phone camera at the symbol on your screen right now. This will take you straight to UNICEF's website so you can donate. You can also find a link to it on our website, WLNS.com/Here for Ukraine. We'll have more from this conversation in our next half hour and on 6 News at noon.